Welcome BAM Nation to Roy's Retro Rewind. The boy has grown up and things at BAM Nation are slowly starting to piece together. These videos, articles will arrive from time to time looking back at certain topics, genres and all things gaming related from the dawn of video games through to the present day. And episode 1 here at BAM Nation takes a look at Mount Panorama Bathurst, V8 Supercars and the video games they have featured in. Every October, thousands make the motorsport pilgrimage to Mount Panorama Bathurst, and many plan the second weekend of this month around the television to watch the great race, Australia's pinnacle of motorsport, the Bathurst 1000. Located some 200 odd kilometres northwest of Sydney, the country town comes alive to the roar of race cars, and for the other 51 weeks of the year, it's a public strip of bitumen. There is something about the track that even when you're not there on the race weekend, standing at the top of Brock's skyline looking over the town, your arms are invaded with goosebumps. We are fortunate in today's times where the latest technology of gaming consoles and PCs allows the opportunity to do what only a handful of men and now women can achieve, and that is race around Mount Panorama and drive cars around the iconic Australian racetrack with detail and handling that many could only dream about just over 20 years ago. The Mount Panorama track and the V8 Supercars first appeared in video games in 1997 when Taurus Games and Virtual Sports released Touring Car Champions. It was endorsed by the Holden Racing team, and the game featured the late Lion legend Peter Brock, Craig Lowndes, Greg Murphy and out of control Thomas Mazera in cutscenes from the Great Race. The Holden Commodore and Ford Falcon of the time were available to players to take part in a series of races around the mountain in order to gain prize money. The cash accumulated from your success could then be invested to upgrade cars, improve pit crews and gain more experienced team managers. It was a bold venture into the driving game genre, and the developers used real-life video taken from the track, superimposing virtual cars over the top. Whilst it may not look like much today, at the time it was our first taste of driving the mountain in a V8 supercar. Not to be outdone by Peter Brock and the Holden brand, Dick Johnson put his name on the cover of Dick Johnson's V8 Challenge in 1999. It was another game released by Taurus Games and included over 21 real touring car drivers competing on real Australian tracks. These included Oran Park, Sandown, Willowbank and the mountain itself, Mount Panorama. The game featured an accurate physics model tuned with the advice of Dick and his son Steve of Dick Johnson Racing, and the opponent's AI were programmed so that each driver took the correct approach, gear and speed of each part of the tracks. DJ's V8 Challenge can be played as single player as well as full multiplayer support to race with your mates, and also had multiple camera angles and a TV mode to sit back and watch the action. The game also contained force feedback support for race wheels, and the 4 tracks in the game were modelled from surveyor, aerial photos and video references, which make this one of the most accurate simulations of Australian touring cars. Other inclusions were graphic effects such as smoke, dust clouds and iconic flames jutting out of the exhaust, as well as audio recorded from Dick Johnson's own race car. The year 2000, Bathurst first came to consoles when Codemasters released TOCA World Touring Cars on the original PlayStation. Whilst it didn't feature the V8 Supercars, there were the 6-cylinder varieties of the Holden VT Commodore and the Ford Falcon AU. However, whilst this was the first in the TOCA Touring Car series by Codemasters, the 3 titles that followed were all released in Australia with the V8 Supercars brand on the cover, and V8 Supercars Race Driver was released on the PS2 and Xbox in 2002. Race Driver included 21 cars from the Shell Championship series as well as 7 tracks, and significantly was the first game to feature Mount Panorama Bathurst on the box marked X. V8 Supercars 2 contained similar content from its predecessor and was released in 2004. However, V8 Supercars 3, which hit the shelves in 2006, was the first driving game to feature all the tracks and cars from the 2005 season, and was the most in-depth licensed game by Supercars Australia, and still is to this day. I still have my copy on the PlayStation 2, and from time to time make the old BA Falcon go for a trip down memory lane around Eastern Creek or the iconic street circuit of Adelaide. It's aged well over the past decade since its release. Sadly, the end of the Race Driver series from Codemasters also saw the end of a total inclusion of the V8 Supercars with all tracks and cars in one package in one place. There have been the Ford Falcon to feature in the Gran Turismo series since Spec 3, and Codemasters Grid series included the Ford Falcon Ute, and both of these games series eventually added in Mount Panorama Bathurst, but only limited aspects of the V8 Supercar series could be seen, going with the driver names and accurate liveries, and for years the average Aussie gamer has yearned for another V8 Supercar title. The Forza series on the Microsoft Xbox became the one to feature licensing from the V8 Supercar series, and in 2015, nearly 10 years on from V8 Supercars 3, Forza Motorsport 6 featured 10 V8 Supercars from all 5 manufacturers that competed in the 2015 season, as well as Mount Panorama, but sadly, this was the only track to feature. The Forza series, a flagship series for Xbox and Microsoft with this licensing, was actually one of the main reasons I went and bought myself the Xbox One. Mount Panorama has also featured in Project Cars, however due to licensing, only the FG Ford Falcon V8 Supercar was released as a free DLC. Today, the Mount Panorama Bathurst track is featured in the big 3 driving games of 2017, Project Cars 2, GT Sport and Forza Motorsport 7, and with laser scanning technology available to game developers as well as input from real race drivers, there isn't a bump or dip in the bitumen that hasn't been integrated into bringing the Aussie iconic track to virtual racers or the cars that feature in the game. Whilst the latter titles all feature on the console, V8 Supercars actually sanctioned an online championship from 2011 through to 2014 on the PC through iRacing. It has also introduced the brand to esports with the just released Forza Motorsport 7, but despite all these, I just wish we had another game to feature all the tracks and cars from today's current V8 Supercars season. Sadly, though due to supply and demand, I fear this may never occur. And as we come around the final corner to take the checkered flag on this video, I just want to say a big thanks for watching, and if you've stuck around this long, don't forget to check out BAM Nation Gaming at www.bamnation.com.au, which is slowly coming together, and if you want, there are t-shirts available to buy online at the website. And stay tuned for more Retro Rewind videos in the future and more content from Red, Bobcat, Weeksy and Mr. Anonymous, as well as myself. Finally, my name is Roy, and once again thanks for watching Roy's Retro Rewind, and until next time, BAM!